single for 10 years, and I'm okay with it.
Okay, moved to Southern California right away after nursing school. I decided I hadn't gotten any liberal arts, so I went back and got a BA in music, which was fun. No stress, just for the fun of it. And met my husband in Southern California at, or he worked at a recycling center. Everybody says, oh, it figures. I was recycling IV bottles from my night shift job. Going around this little hospital. So we moved to Oregon quickly when we decided that we didn't want to raise a family in Los Angeles. And we've been living in Oregon ever since. And I have two daughters, Tasha, who's 16, and Ursula, who's 12. Got kind of a late start, so I have still younger kiddies. And I kind of stayed at home for a while, and then I got more and more interested in preventive health. I got really burned out in acute care. So I've been a public health nurse for about 5 years and got my BSN, and I work in Portland for Multnomah County, and really like my job, really like that kind of independent practice and dealing with all kinds of social and political issues. It's really exciting. And lately I've been doing an interim supervisor job of a field team, so that's been fun, I think. Change my mind daily. Yes, that's about it.
I'll start with the kids, so I like to talk about my kids. But I have a 21-year-old last week who is a senior for the first year. He's got 3 more senior years to go. Who is just transferred from Furman University to the University of South Carolina. And Marcy, who is 18, who just started her freshman year at Clemson University. They both have been delights, and I'm going through withdrawal, not having them at home. Really enjoyed having them. Pete and I are renewing friendships, and he's loving every minute of it, and I am too. We are having a good time. We'll be married 25 years December. I met him in the old Highland ER. I wanted to go through there today, and they wouldn't let us go through. But so that was really a lot of fun. And my jobs have taken me from cardiac care, which I did an awful lot of, intensive and coronary care, and opened the cardiac care unit at John Muir Hospital in Walnut Creek, the first one that they had. Then when we moved back to Virginia, I dabbled a little bit in emergency room, and then came back to California and decided I was tired of nursing, so I went into special education and taught 1st through 3rd, co-taught in special ed, and then went back to Virginia, which is where we are now. We've been there for 3 years, and I've gone into risk management, medical malpractice risk management for an insurance company, and that's what I'm doing now. And I will be forever working on my last 30 units of my BSN. That's basically it.
Prize for moving the most, but Carolyn has obviously got it. Let's see. I had hepatitis when we were in school, and so I was 3 months behind you. So Russ and I were married the week after Nancy and Jackie were married. And then I finished school, and I worked at Highland for a year with Jenny Belby as my head nurse. And by the way, I had lunch with her today in Pleasanton, and she sends her love to everyone. I could not persuade her to come, but she looks great. She's teaching in Aptos at Cabrillo College down by Santa Cruz. And then we moved to San Jose, and I worked in a couple of hospitals there, and we were there about 2 or 3 years. Russ went back to school and became a CPA, and we moved to Reno. And there, I almost hired on as George's office nurse when he came from orthopedic residency, not knowing who he was. And so Bertie and I were in the same path for a while. There I worked on a medical floor, and then became head nurse in pediatrics for a while. And my claim to fame is, I bet you've forgotten that I helped design the pediatric unit.
Right, and you hired me.
Oh, I did hire you?
1 night a week. The only nurse in all of the state of Nevada hired for 1 night a week.
Good night off. we were there married for 3 years, and then Russ and I divorced, and then I stayed 2 more years, and I got involved in a rural nurse practitioner program. I don't know how that happened, but it did. It was very brief, about 4 months, and I determined I really needed to have more education to practice, and I was interested in it, and so I was able to get into a 2-step for RN program for BSN at Boise State, and moved to Idaho and became a family nurse practitioner, and have done this in indigent care with migrant health for most of the last 12 years. And one of the jobs that I had was out in the bushwhack, you know, where you had to do defibrillation on people's living room floor and that type of stuff. And I've done 2 startups for primary care clinics in the public health service system, and a lot of other adventuresome things, and now I'm being very mundane in a private practice and family practice with 4 physicians on site in town, where there's an emergency room right over there, thank you. I never had any kids. I remarried in '78 to a man who was a frustrated farmer, and we have tripped around the world doing the midlife crisis. And now we're through with farming, and we're back to Idaho. We were in Nebraska for a while.
Idaho farming?
Idaho is farming.
Do they have streets and sidewalks and all that? Where do the Indians go?
We went to Nebraska sort of on a side trip for 3.5 years to his homestead, and we got that out of our system while raising chickens and pigs and turkeys and geese and canning and having eggs and, you know, all that stuff. And
Can't believe this.
and then came back to Idaho.
Catalog here.
And Harvey is now a handyman. He has his own handyman business, and he does what everybody's husband doesn't have time to do and doesn't want to do and doesn't have the interest in doing and is not capable of doing, and all of the single moms that you've mentioned who've been divorced for 15 years, you know how you always need something done. He's making a great living at that. And I have 5 stepchildren and 9 grandchildren, and my family's all over, and I just got a progress report on Russ. He is now doing farming in partnership with Roberta and her husband, and still a CPA, her CPA. What else did you tell me?
Tell people about your weight now.
Oh yes, my major accomplishment is that I finally went to treatment for my compulsive overeating and lost 70 pounds last year and have maintained a 60-pound weight loss. Oh yes. My major accomplishment is that I finally went to treatment for my compulsive overeating and lost 70 pounds last year and have maintained a 60-pound weight loss. So that's my deal.
We all
Roll it!
Marketing research and now have my own company and going great guns. I don't think I'll ever slow down. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's in healthcare or something else. It's just too much fun to be busy, and that's probably where I'll stay.